Hey everybody, it's September 3rd, I think? No, 4th of the year 2020, and this is a driving home and thing, except for I'm driving away from home and thinking because it's the usual Friday night jam. And gonna talk a little bit about last night's game. First thing would be, wouldn't it be great if there was enough bandwidth where everyone that wanted to play online could play in a seamless, not laggy situation? I can tell you that at one point late in the game, all of the players agreed to turn their cameras off and just like watch me. So like my camera was still on, so they could see me and they could see the board for combat, and then they could, but all I could do is hear them. So that helped a lot as far as the internet connection, or maybe just the speed. It's a shame that high-speed internet, I can upload at 11 megabytes a second, and I can download at 120 using Charter cable. And I don't know if it's my internet that's the issue, or could it be it's obvious that it's somebody's internet if everyone's turning their camera off. I mean, is that really? We had 6 players. Everyone was present near the end, and because it was Ein, Garrett, Valmir, Waldor, Kelf, and Gaspar. Yeah, 6. So, anyway, of course, as usual, there's something that doesn't work right while we're trying to do this online thing. You know, I see other streams online. I don't really like watching online D&D. I can watch if a group is playing in person because I like the maps and moving the figures and stuff. To me, that's fun to watch. I don't really care for like virtual combat. To me, it's not. It doesn't cut it. I mean, obviously, if you have nothing else, then that's what you do. But being the DM, I will always have access to the figs and the board, and it's just a matter of getting the players to be able to see it. And then also, for some reason, that mic I bought, couldn't get it to, I don't know, be like recognized, or I went through the settings like I always do, just didn't ever want to pick up. It was all only connecting through the camera, microphone, and this is for the players, for their feed coming from my Chromebook. I use the Chromebook to put the players on the TV at the end of the table, and then I have a separate camera hooked up to the Chromebook, so that way I can put it up above, and that way I don't have to like put the shelf. But because the camera on the Chromebook, it says it's high def, it's terrible. It's not. I used it, so I don't, whatever. So so there's that whole situation, and I guess you can go with the cliche old person versus technology meme if you want, I guess that's where I'm at, because I've done this successfully multiple times, and then sometimes it just doesn't work and I can't figure it out. So so that was important, but it wasn't enough to like ruin the game, I guess, because it just forced me to be more descriptive of certain scenes, knowing that I guess the players couldn't see, or I guess they could see fine, but it was me that couldn't see them. So maybe it wasn't a big deal at all. Maybe I don't need to see them. Maybe I'll rethink that. Anyway, still, it would be nice to have the visual of them, but whatever. Okay, so the second topic would be, I guess I'm not as good, or I've put down hints and clues in the story. And there's one specific hint that I can't talk about here because it would definitely be a spoiler. But either they have not like put two and two together, even though I've said it multiple times in multiple different scenes, or I am not getting the point across as much as I think I am. So it's either one of those two. Both are possible. Neither one of those are crimes, but they're still like, huh. So, you know, it is, at first it was a little frustrating, but as I woke up this morning, I was like, okay, I see what you're doing there. How does a good DM do his magic? Okay, so Dungeons and Dragons is make-believe, it's made up. Okay, so therefore you can have any reason you want for anything, and you don't have to necessarily justify it, because you can always go with the fallback position, which I think is lazy, of, well, it's just magic, you don't understand. So I try never to use that, and I'm not planning on using it on this one. But there are other ways to get information to the players or characters than simply having NPCs or smart entities do a lore dump or reveal a secret or whatever. Usually I find those to be the best, because then you can reveal the motivations of the adversary, NPC, ally, while giving the information that you want the players to get and to consider using. Not that they have to use it, because that would be a railroad, but that they should consider using it, and they should understand it, because the game, a game that does not have players that take meticulous notes, you would be setting yourself up to fail as a dungeon master if you tried to make the story complex to a bunch of players who aren't interested in keeping a good grasp on continuity. So you have to put your players in a position to succeed. And also, it's always, for me, it's fun to see a player put two and two together and solve the puzzle, whether it's a mystery or like an actual in-game puzzle, or coming up with a hypothesis and then investigating it. They don't really do a lot of investigations. They prefer to kind of like be told what to do. And I've found that there's not a lot of players that will strike out on their own, and simply because not everyone has the knowledge to be an investigator. I could certainly see someone who in real life who has a job that has to do with investigation, finding out where or what, the who, what, where, when, why, and how, like maybe an accountant or a police officer or, obviously Batman. But to expect someone, and we'll just use me as an example, to expect someone that is the dairy manager in a grocery store to have all the necessary skills to be able to sleuth out the inner workings of the big bad guy, I don't think that's realistic. I think that's just putting too much on the players. Now, you expect your players to do some of their own research, which means if they think something's important, or if you think something's important, you might, as a DM, want to say, well, this is important. You might want to write it down. And then if they don't, then it's on them. I find that perfectly reasonable then to later on, when that situation comes up and they say, who was that guy? And I'm like, I don't know, I remember telling you it was important, but if you didn't write it down, I guess you don't remember. So I find that perfectly reasonable. And if a bad thing happens out of that, then so be it. And when I say bad thing, normally it would be like, a direct, not like a death. That's overkill. In a story where you control things. But I like to roll dice to see how the NPCs react in any situation. If you've seen any of the live game, you know that when like a player isn't there, I'll just roll the dice to see if their character has anything interesting to add at any time. And if the higher I roll, the more interesting and or accurate information they enter into the scene, whether it be a pertinent question or a direct answer to another question or a good idea to move the story along. Like if they're at a bar and somebody says, I want to go fight that guy, I'll roll a d20 for one of the characters, and let's say I roll a 1, they'd be like, no, don't do that, that would cause too much trouble. But if I roll a 20, it would just be like, yeah, go kick his ass. And then you got all the way in between. Like a 10 would be, well, you're a big boy, do what you want, I'll watch. So that to me is fun, because then you can get some, because I don't know if you've ever dealt with people and or alive things, but they often do not do what you expect them to do. And that's why I like rolling dice to direct what a absent player would say or do. To me, it's much more organic. And not to mention, it takes the pressure off of if you try to play someone who's not there and the other players are like, well, they wouldn't do that. It's like totally removes that off. And it's like, well, I rolled a 17, so even though I don't think, but this time he just decided that was a good idea. And that's pretty cool. I like it. Just removes one more thing and adds one more thing for me. So anyway, I guess the final idea that I would like to leave you with from this video is that though I was mildly not super frustrated, just mildly like, am I giving them all the information, or did I mess this up and not say the right thing? I've found another way, and I think a fun way to get the information across to certain players next game. Now, unfortunately, we're taking a week off because I got something going on Thursday, and that would be the opening night of the NFL. And I've always enjoyed the NFL, and I probably always will, and I don't give a shit who knows it, and I want to watch that opening game because it'll be, the game, and I don't think they're having fans. So I want to see if they pump in. It's opening night, and football is a nice distraction from whatever else. It's like D&D. It's a good distraction. It's like hockey. So, but then the following Thursday we'll be back. I don't have any set pieces built, but I can tell you that we are close to wrapping this story up. Wrapping it up. And when I say close to, that takes into account, as I stated previously, that humans and or living things can choose unexpected ways to go. So I don't have a set number of sessions or a set number of hours or whatever. I mean, obviously the story can't go on forever because the other forces in the world are also doing things that pushes their story forward, and at some point it will collide with the actual players and their story. That's pretty much that's called conflict. That's one of the parts of a story, at least as far as I remember. If I'm wrong, put that in the comments. Tell me about how you're, there's nice long lines going that way, maybe. Okay, so anyway, but all in all, fun session. And I enjoyed being able to do this one certain scene and use some cool music to help accentuate the scene. I think they enjoyed that scene. I didn't write out the scene. It was just something that I thought would be cool, and I think it was. So anyway, if you like this sort of video, you're just browsing through, hit that like button. If you're still watching, you're awesome. Hit that subscribe button for more content from a Midwest D&D guy that doesn't plan on making any money off of these. He does it for the fun of it. Also, how about you roll them 20?